Well folks, it's been a while since we checked in with the filming of Jurassic World 4, i.e. Jurassic World Rebirth. Now they've been hard at work filming in Malta over the last few weeks as we've seen, but they've actually finished now and they've moved over to England. I suspect this means we'll get less leaks and less set photos and stuff like that. The England studios are going to be a little bit more closed off than these big wide open outdoor water tanks we've had access to in Malta. It's a bit of a shame, but we do have a little bit of information about the England filming. We've got actor interviews, we've got set photos, we've got set videos, we've got some pretty cool stuff to dig into. So let's check in with what's been going on over the last 2 weeks on Jurassic World Rebirth. And the first thing we have is an interview with Jonathan Bailey, who is one of the lead actors for the film, one of the protagonist characters for the film as far as we know. He did an interview about a wide range of things, but there were a couple of snippets about Jurassic World. This first one was, "How's it going?" And JB said, "I'm loving it, we're doing a whole new version of the Jurassic Park franchise." Now yesterday I saw some people freaking out about this a little bit. I think there's a little bit of a worry in the community that they're basically going to undo the past 3 films, maybe even the past 6 films. You know, the title, Rebirth, there's a lot of talk about a reboot or a soft reboot going on. I would say first of all, this is an actor hyping up their upcoming film, they're trying to nostalgia bait a little bit, you know, this isn't an official statement from Universal or anyone. I wouldn't look into it too much, but this to me does actually line up with what we know about the film so far. Let's check out the next bit and then we'll talk about that a little bit more. The next question was, what can you say about your character about this new franchise? Interesting to say new franchise. I can say it's written by David Coep, who wrote the original. It feels like it's in ultimate hands to bring it back to what the original achieved. And there's a lot of that kind of talk going around, ideas of returning to what made Jurassic Park so special in the first place. Whilst I understand people are a little bit worried it's going to undo all this canon that's been built up, I don't think that's a concern. I still think we're going to be in a post-Dominion world. If I was going to equate this film to another based on what I've heard so far, is that this is going to be the equivalent of Prey was to the Predator franchise. Prey came out, kind of revitalized the franchise a little bit, harkened back to its roots. You know, it was a fairly bare bones, back to basics, horror action thriller just like the original, but more updated for a modern audience, and pretty bloody awesome. To me, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting for this new film. It can still fit canonically within the wider Jurassic franchise, and I think it will. I don't think they're going to do any retconning. We know InGen are still knocking around. We know the Parasaurolophus from the Jurassic World films is still in this film. They're clearly not undoing those past 3 films. But I think it will do away with the nostalgia and the references. I don't think we're going to see any legacy characters. I don't even think the likes of Rexy are going to appear in this film. I think it's basically, we've got this world post-Dominion that Jurassic World has set up. Now let's go tell a whole new story in it. You know, it's a fresh start within an established universe. Anyways, we also got some set photos, so you're about to see a lot of stuff here, and all of it is from Riker Reel, who has been in Malta these last few weeks and has posted over on Twitter, or X if you're that way inclined. So first of all, we got some more images of this military styled boat that we've seen before with this sort of dark grey camo, just a few shots there really showing for the first time really the full shape, the full form of this boat. We know this gets attacked by something. We've seen it shake, we know it's rigged up to move and wibble about in the water. Now Riker Reel is apparently an ex-US Marine, and they had to say this about the ship design. "This isn't your standard patrol boat, this is a tactical vessel. Its angular design is built for stealth and speed, minimizing radar detection, perfect for combat or covert missions, and ideal for reconnaissance." Riker also posted some pretty cool shots of the other vessel. We know there's 2 main vessels here. We've got the big military vessel, and then we've got this kind of pleasure yacht, kind of harking back to that opening of the Lost World Jurassic Park. And it appears that this vessel is going to be used at the beginning of the film. And we can see here this beautiful dramatic shot with the branch breaking over. This beautiful dramatic shot of it being flipped over. Now, I'm pretty sure this is all taking place at the beginning of the film. We've got a bit of a leaked synopsis for Jurassic World 4 Rebirth in that it's about these teenagers or these children, because there's always going to be kids knocking around, who get stranded on one of the islands. Some people go into rescue and maybe they then run into that military operation or that private military operation and things go a little bit haywire from there. But I've got a really good look at the entire boat there. I just love the look of the rig here. You can see how it's attached to both sides, and that is just so they can flip it, they can turn it around really easily using these rotors on both sides of the boat. Really fantastic photos here from Riker Reel. Big shout out to them. And they didn't just get photos, we actually have a video. I'm going to play that video for you in its entirety right now, and then we'll talk about it briefly.
We go, ready, we're set, and 3, 2, 1, action! There, guys, really well done. Let's come in, guys, let's help.
So as I say, this seems to be from the opening of the film, the premise of the teens getting stranded on the island and then their rescue and everything that goes wrong with that rescue is kind of the focus of the film. Very much again harping back to what Jurassic used to be, really going back to that bare bones, thriller in the jungle kind of appeal. I understand why some people will be a little disappointed by that, but to me that's kind of Jurassic. You know, the globe trotting and world ending never really fit the franchise for me personally, so, you know, people want different things from this franchise, that's okay. As long as they're willing to shake up the formula, even if we're going back to the original formula in some ways. Well, actually, we're going more in line with Jurassic Park 3 than any other film, which, hey, I'm very on board with. Anyway, so we got this scene happening at the start of the film. The boat's been flipped over, there's two people in the water, and the excavator, someone mentioned this on Twitter, but the excavator you can see at the bottom, I believe, is there to replicate the sound of a boat engine that's kind of turning over. It's going, it's rumbling, but it's not quite kicking into gear, so the engine's sputtering as it's been turned over in the water. Something is in the water, folks. There is something large in the water. I don't know what it is. I've been thinking it's the Spinosaurus, and I'm not gonna lie, like, it's good for videos to think it's the Spinosaurus. A lot of people have suggested the Mosasaurus. I actively don't think it's the Mosasaurus. I think it's the Spinosaurus, or it's something else entirely. It could be a Megalodon, it could be a Plesiosaur, some description, it could be a different type of Mosasaur, it could be a swimming prehistoric planet Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's a lot of potential out there for what this creature in the water could be. Given they seem to be trying to disconnect and start sort of a new franchise or a new trilogy within Jurassic, I do think it's not going to be the Mosasaurus. I suspect that's gone. And also the Mosasaurus is huge, and this little yacht is tiny. You know, this little yacht does not get knocked over by a Mosasaurus. This little yacht gets obliterated by a Mosasaurus. That's why I think it's something quite a lot smaller than that. The Mosasaurus in the film is like 100 feet by the end, whereas the Spinosaurus is much more appropriately sized. I think given the vibe of the film, that we're going back to these islands, and there is an abandoned InGen island and there's a lot of water. You know, we've seen them filming on lakes on the interior of Thailand as well. Not all of this is taking place in the ocean. There's clearly something in the interior seaways on the island. And I think if anything was going to be capable of that, then Spinosaurus seems like the obvious choice to me. Either way, there's something in the water. Now, before we go, one more thing. Big credit to Jurassic Outpost for this. If you want to keep up to date with Jurassic news and stuff like that, they are the very best site out there, other than myself. But they're, you know, a great bunch of people, and I highly recommend you go give them a follow on their website and such. They were talking about the filming of Jurassic on their podcast, the Jurassic Outpost podcast. As I mentioned, they've started filming in England, and I thought, well, maybe the closed sets, it's going to be a little bit harder to see anything. But someone from Jurassic Outpost said on the podcast that ruins and sort of Mayan architecture have been spotted near where they're filming for Jurassic. Now, if we hark back all the way to the second video I ever did on this topic, of course we saw these Mayan temple architecture ruins kind of being built in the Thai forest. And you can see a couple of photos of them there. This kind of very trespasser feeling. But again, this is kind of what's making me feel like it's Prey. Again, we're kind of going very primal with it. You know, we're really going back to our roots. Less of this genetic testing and the locusts and all that kind of jazz. It's really back to basics, straight up horror thriller kind of stuff is where I'm predicting it. And all of this suggests that to me. Either way, the fact that they filmed this not only in Thailand, but they're filming it here in England as well, would suggest that this Mayan architecture might have quite a lot of relevance to the film. Them using it in England, where you don't have this tropical backdrop, would suggest to me possibly an interior as well, not just, you know, these walkways and archways and staircases, possibly an ancient building that they're actually going to walk inside. But either way, that's everything we've gleaned from the past couple of weeks. I do expect to hear much less going forward, and then I expect to hear a lot more going forward, so we'll see what happens. But as per usual, I will bring you all the latest news right here on the Best in Slot channel, so follow along if you haven't already. Throw me a like down below if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think. Let's say this film is the Prey version of the Jurassic franchise. How would you feel about that personally? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers, much love as always. Bye bye.